Hey everybody, welcome to the Gen Z podcast. This is episode 122. I feel like all I've been doing lately is podcasting, which is amazing. And today's guest is Chris Giuditta. He's one of our jiu-jitsu students. We've had this influx of UMD college students here, and it's been amazing, but it's really sad because last night we had to say goodbye to one of them, one of our first that graduated, Jensen. So it's kind of a sad moment, but we hope everybody's going to come back and visit. But it's really interesting because Chris, I did not know, and Jensen actually told me, has an acai food truck. Okay, so he owns Ono Bowls Food Truck. Hopefully I said that correctly. But I mean, acai and jiu-jitsu are they go hand in hand. And I didn't know if Chris ever knew that. So we had talked about it and I was like, oh my God, I looked up his Instagram and it's crazy. So thank you, Chris, for being on the podcast today. I appreciate you taking the time. But man, did you even know the connection of acai and jiu-jitsu?
So thanks for having me. Really excited to be here.
Yay.
I did, only because some of my best customers at Ono Bowls, it's Ono.
Ono?
No problem.
I'm like Ono, Ono.
Yeah. It means delicious in Hawaiian. It's a Hawaiian-inspired food truck.
Yes.
And we could get into that later.
Absolutely.
But I first figured out or learned about the connection of jiu-jitsu and acai down the shore at one of my trucks in Orly Beach, New Jersey. Some of my most regular customers were super into jiu-jitsu. And this was, I guess, 2 summers ago, so 2021. And I was like, that's really cool. And not only were they great people, but they were also very happy to tell me about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And trying to convince me to bring the truck to a lot of, tournaments and stuff.
Sure.
But that's when I really first got interested in jiu-jitsu, and I had a cousin that still does it at the time.
Okay.
Cousin Jimmy got me into jiu-jitsu. Shout out to him.
Yay to cousin Jimmy.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
He's a purple belt now.
Awesome.
So he works me every time we go together. But
fantastic.
Yeah. So that's sort of how I learned about the connection, and I guess how did you guys find? Oh, Jensen told
me, and I was like, what? What are you talking about? And he showed me your Instagram, and I was like, holy heck, this guy's amazing. What? I mean, you have that natural charisma, and I feel
thank you.
On video, your videos, it's just awesome. So you guys have to follow the Instagram. It's Ono Bowls Food Truck on Instagram, and you guys do have a website, onobowls.net.
Correct.
I was kind of perusing around yesterday, preparing for this. But how did you, first of all, being so young, that was something that kind of caught my attention, being an entrepreneur myself. And I started my own business when I was 25. But you are super young. You're what, 22?
21.
21, okay. And you've had this for a few years, right?
Yeah.
Tell me all about it. How'd you get started, and when did it start?
For sure. So, my friend and I out of high school started it. I was 17 at the time.
Wow.
And the reason we were able to sort of pivot so quickly into a business was because we worked at the Ono Bowls storefront in Westfield.
Okay.
Which is, an acai bowl and smoothie shop in northern New Jersey, where I'm from. And Ben and I had worked there 2 or 3 years, and we just learned, the supply chain and the marketing side of it inside and out.
Sure.
And the product, of course. And it was something that, I really enjoyed putting healthy food into my body, and I could tell that Trish, the owner, was super genuine. She's my best friend's mom.
Oh, awesome.
And, it was just an authentic product that I didn't feel bad, promoting to people.
Sure.
So, I guess a part of me was thinking look, I'm really good at the marketing side of this. I was doing promotion for the store for a year or so. And obviously, and Ben interned there. We all had junior internships in high school, and he interned at the store. So when I had this idea to bring the store down the shore, where I grew up spending most of my summers, I was like, Trish, Ben, there's a demand here. What do we have to do to make this store into a food truck?
That's awesome.
And bring it, right to the beach.
Food trucks became such a big thing. I feel like they just became so popular. So that's awesome for you to kind of think about that, come up with that idea. It's great.
Yeah, people have ideas like this, I think, all the time. It's just a matter of making them tangible.
Right.
So I think that what really helped was Ben and I were working a shift together at the store. This was senior year of high school.
Okay.
And I proposed the idea to him because he had been working there for a while and is also one of the hardest working people I know. And we got 2 paper plates and a Sharpie and just wrote out our business plan on these 2 plates.
That's how the best ideas come about.
Of course, yeah. We still have the plates today because it really shows like, you know, you could go from idea to writing, and then that turned into a presentation that we pitched to Trish, the owner of the store.
Yeah.
And I mean, she was super supportive. She was like, I'm not going to be the barrier to entry for your guys' entrepreneurial ideas, you know?
That's awesome.
So she gave 2 17-year-olds a loan to start the first truck. And
oh my God.
we ended up breaking even that first summer. We were working in like Chadwick and Normandy Beach, New Jersey.
Wow.
Yeah. And
That's incredible.
yeah, now we have 1 truck for catering that operates in northern Jersey, and then 1 truck that's still down the shore in Normandy Beach, New Jersey.
Wow. So when I was looking at the website too, I was like, oh my gosh, like there's actual like locations, brick and mortar, like physical locations. So I was like, did you guys start that? But I love that you shared that story, that that's where you worked in high school.
Yeah.
And were able to kind of create that idea and expand it. What was it like just kind of starting out? How did you had the paper plate idea, wrote it down, but and how, I have to say, it's so important and awesome, I think, to have those people in your life that really believe in you and want to give you that opportunity and help you. Like, that's incredible that she was like, okay guys, run with it, to make that possible. But how was that transition? Like, was that overwhelming? Like, how did you go about it?
Definitely.
I'm like, back then it had to be, as 17-year-olds, that's tough.
I think there's that cliche saying that hard work never hurt nobody.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course it was overwhelming. Like, we knew about how to run the store a little bit, but we didn't know how to enter the food truck industry. And
sure.
So, I mean, the best way to learn fast in life, and we really, did this in real life out of high school, is just to throw yourself into the fire. And you do get super overwhelmed, but like you'll figure it out, especially when you got a loan over your head. Like, hey, we kind of gotta break. You gotta
make this happen.
Yeah. So I mean, you make grand gestures to yourself, right? So like taking out a loan and buying this food truck, and just showing up down the shore. I think it was like July 4th was our first day down the shore, I think. So yeah, just showing up at the place, like you've kind of done all this stuff as a grand gesture to yourself.
Yeah.
As like, all right, I need to make this happen. It was pretty overwhelming, but I have a bunch of kind of quotes that I reference, that some of them I made myself in my notes on my iPhone.
I love that.
And one of them that comes to mind now is, make scalable piles of rock out of your mountain. So like starting a business, right? Like that's your mountain. And as an entrepreneur, I'm sure you can understand this.
Yeah.
That's your mountain. And with any big goal, you could get really overwhelmed by just looking at this mountain.
Sure.
But if you just take each step by step and break it down into scalable piles of rock, because at the end of the day, that's all it is.
Totally.
And you take it day by day, then there's really no reason why you're not going to achieve that goal, as long as you just take it one step at a time. Right. And jiu-jitsu is kind of the same way.
It's like slow and steady.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm like, if I just look at becoming a black belt now, like, that's never going to happen. But if I come into the gym every day and learn the moves and then go drill them in open mat, there's no reason why that won't happen if I stick with it for however many years it takes.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, I could get into more of the specific stuff. That was a little philosophical.
No, I love that. I love it. But I love that. I mean, that pertains to so much in life, even with, clients that I work with regarding like weight loss and, nutrition and fitness and jiu-jitsu. It's like, let's break down kind of these goals, because they do seem so overwhelming. So for you to have that insight at such a young age, I think is awesome. And I love that you have these quotes. I love quotes. So that's amazing, right? Whatever kind of keeps you going and motivated. But so what exactly do you guys serve, and like where do you get everything? I want to know everything that's on the menu, because I love acai bowls, and I think it's so funny because I would joke, and I said this to you too, like a lot of the big jiu-jitsu events like IBJJF, like Pans and Worlds, Masters Worlds, they have, you know, acai there. And I always joke, I'm like, I think, you know, yeah, we get to compete, but everyone really goes for the acai because it's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing. And everywhere else that I've kind of had it, it's not really been the same. So, and I have to have some of your acai.
Yeah.
But how do you guys, you know, what kind of bowls you create? What do you have on your menu? Because I saw there's a few different things and the difference between your catering menu, but what options do you have?
Yeah, there's, so I guess I could start at the very roots is, so Trish lived in Hawaii for some years when she was in her 20s, and she met her husband there at Gil Caminos, who's Hawaiian.
Awesome.
And they moved back to New Jersey in my hometown of Cranford, and my best friend Sam is in my grade, so that's kind of how I got the job originally at Ono Bowls.
Sam? No.
No. Oh my God, funny. Yeah.
Okay.
No. That's funny. My best friend Sam in college. Yeah.
That's
he
awesome.
comes to the jiu-jitsu gym.
I know. Where has Sam been? I haven't seen Sam for a minute.
He. I'll tell you. But,
Okay.
But not
that's off the podcast.
Not the same Sam.
Right.
Yeah,
Different Sam.
yeah.
But funny.
Very
Sams.
funny. Maryland UMD Sam versus New Jersey Sam.
Love it.
Yeah. No, Nordheimer and Caminos, different names.
Okay.
But anyway, she tried her first acai bowls in Hawaii, and they do have some very good acai there. Kind of just goes with the whole surfer culture.
Totally.
So she wanted to bring that like authentic, you know, Ohana vibe back to New Jersey, where she lives now. So that's where Ono Bowls came from. That's where the names come from. So we use obviously all the same ingredients that Ono Bowls, the store front, uses. And I mean, the big thing about our acai and just general product versus like the big change is that like there's just no fillers. Like it's just frozen acai berries blended into a sherbet. Has to be sweetened or else it's very bitter. The acai berry is extremely bitter. So if someone tells you there's no sugar in this and it's like not extremely bitter, like almost like a coffee bean, then they're lying to you. Yeah. So there's like I think 7 grams of added organic cane sugar to our base. So in the whole bowl, like that's not a lot of
That's not
sugar.
a lot.
And then the rest is just fruit. You know, if you want honey, agave, peanut butter, we got it. There's no palm oil in our peanut butter. We don't use Nutella. We make our own chocolate spread with like hazelnuts and macadamia nuts, cacao powder, like, and yeah. So it's just like no added BS. And then our granola is literally homemade. Like we make it ourselves. It's not like a packaged granola or like a Captain Crunch, you know, rice puff thing.
Totally.
So yeah, you just feel extremely energized after eating them. Like it's like coffee or crack cocaine for me. like I could eat it, you know. I mean, I do eat it every day when I'm in New Jersey. But I don't even eat it in Maryland because I don't trust the stores down here.
I mean, I haven't had, like I said, the last time I had acai was really at Masters Worlds last August, which is really sad. We're gonna need to plan, and I don't know how, if we can coordinate this, to have you up here with your food truck.
Yeah, I think like a big, I think just jiu-jitsu tournaments in general, that we're always looking for new partnerships with catering events, right? Like catering started as like small birthday parties. During COVID. So we're just taking any event we get. And we still do birthday parties and things like that, but we're, you know, the big, I guess, bang for our buck is being like a partner with a big corporation and catering for their employees. We catered for like the Atlanta Falcons last summer.
That's awesome.
We catered for like the Live golf tournament. So like bigger events like that. We do lacrosse tournaments. So like why wouldn't we do jiu-jitsu tournaments as well? You
could really do any sporting event.
So that's on my agenda for this summer is finding some jiu-jitsu corporations, I guess, to partner with.
Well, there's a few. I mean, you can definitely, I'm like, reach out to Fuji, reach out to Grappling Industries, all of those, because there's not, you know, what I found too is you know, we're going off on a little tangent, but a lot of these local jiu-jitsu tournaments, right, there's really nowhere, and especially at the venue, they don't have like food available. Or it's like packaged candy bars, you know. So I mean, I think that would be, you know, huge, and people would love that. So that's something I think you know, even the Good Fight. I mean, there's so many people. I feel like I could give you some, you know, resources to look that up, because that'd be amazing.
And back to the options of Ono Bowls, just because I never really touched on that. I just sort of.
Well, we talked about the history.
I dove into history and the authenticity of the ingredients.
Which I love.
Of course.
Coming from nutrition, like that's important?
So I mean, the storefront of Ono Bowls has a lot more options because you could just keep more inventory in a store.
Of course.
So you could get, I mean, the acai bowls, the papaya bowls. We have a coconut base. We have a greens base. And then aside from, you know, smoothies and bowls, there's also just a huge juice menu, which is nice.
Nice.
Like greens juices, vitamin C blast juices.
Yeah.
And so it's really fun to go in there because I just get everything. Whereas the truck's menu is more limited. It's smoothies and bowls only. That was a big thing, a big joke between me, Ben, and Trish when we started the truck. We were like, yeah, we just took the items that are the easiest to make and put it on the truck.
Right.
And it's just funny because the employees are like, oh, it's so much easier to work the truck than the store.
Than in the store.
Until you have to, you know, cater for 100 football players that are eating.
Right, that's a little,
It gets very.
Everything has its challenges.
Yeah.
So even though it may seem like something simple, that's what you have to make it simple, right? Because you are in this food truck, you're not in the store, and you've got to be able to give out good product. Quickly. You know, I can imagine. So, that's awesome.
Yeah. In my basement floor, I still have like a tape and Sharpie outline of what the truck's dimensions are.
Oh my gosh.
So Ben and I don't know if you ever see the movie The Founder. It's about the guys who founded McDonald's.
Okay.
And they not that Ono Bowls is anything like McDonald's, but they mapped out the kitchen with chalk on tennis courts.
Okay.
And they were walking through the motions.
Yeah.
And so that's where I got that idea. And
that's so cool.
We literally set the truck's dimensions we did dry runs through in my basement, just all right,
amazing.
Smoothie here, register here, refrigerators here.
That's so creative.
Yeah, it's funny, the truck's dimensions are literally the exact same.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I'm still so just impressed and blown away with how young you were and you made that happen. That's amazing.
Yeah,
you should be very proud of that. That's a big accomplishment.
I appreciate that. It's I don't know. I've always looked for opportunities to add value. I hope I'm a value add to this gym. You know,
absolutely.
I want to be a value add in my classrooms. In my neighborhood, I started a landscaping business when I was 13. So I just always wanted to be a useful, I don't know, functioning member of society. There's so many opportunities to, provide value in the world.
I feel like that's also a very Italian cultural thing. I don't know about you, hard work though. I mean, that was instilled. I started working when I was 14. You know, it's you and have always been very goal oriented and driven, and you work hard, right? You want to be a good person helping, you know, and I feel that's just a big thing in our culture.
Yeah, there's now that we're on the Italian tangent, my grandpa.
Well, the Italians here, you know.
Yeah, my grandpa loves citing me random facts about Italians. It's Alexander Graham Bell didn't invent the telephone. Is actually an Italian. Blah blah blah.
Oh yeah, sure.
So he has this statistic. God knows if it's true, but he always says Italians from the time they first immigrated to America until however many generations it took. That was the fastest, they were the fastest ethnic group to advance socially, in social class.
Sure.
Because they were just such hard workers.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true, but it makes intuitive sense if you're Italian.
Absolutely, right? Absolutely. I mean, that's how, our whole town, back home in Chicago, in Highwood, Highland Park, where we're from, it's a big Italian community, and everyone kind of immigrated from the same place in Italy to there. So when you go there, and then in Italy, our hometowns, it's all that's where everyone goes.
Same names.
Same names.
Yeah.
But it's everyone came and started working, very much union workers, laborers, just getting to the grind and putting in that hard work and just wanting to be part of the American culture and society.
Yeah, I think that's another huge thing that determines how fast you could, I guess, advance as as an immigrant is how fast you learn the language. My grandpa doesn't even know Italian because his parents didn't speak it in the house. They wanted to learn English as fast as possible.
That's a good point. Because my whole family, all my grandparents were born in Italy. And so then my parents speak Italian, but they didn't speak it with us growing up. So I understand a lot of it because of my, my nonnas and my great aunts and everybody, but I don't naturally just like speak it. Like I took it in high school, and like I can get by on like Italian, Spanish when I'm in Italy. But that's something I so wish that they just, you know, spoke it so we can be fluent. But it was like they were learning English.
Yep.
You know, they wanted to adapt and learn English, and it was kind of like that was almost not looked down upon, but like they wanted to be able to fit in and learn the culture and the language. And so whereas now it's like so great being more diverse and bilingual, and we celebrate that a little more, it's a little bit different. You know, it was a little different then. So I wish I could just like bust out and fluently speak Italian.
Of course. I studied in Rome or 2 semesters ago. So a year ago from today, I was in Rome, with Sam, and Jensen was there too.
That's awesome.
There's a bunch of Maryland kids,
That's great.
So my Italian got pretty good.
Yeah.
But nowhere near fluent.
I'm working on my dual citizenship. It's been a 3-year process, hopefully this year it happens. They just request more and more paperwork, but it'd be really cool. Then I can like, you know, officially even like work there and like have like hold a jiu-jitsu seminar there or something, you know, like make something happen, which I think would be really awesome. But so how do you manage, you know, being here? You're a college student, right? Well, soon to be done, graduating. But how were you able to kind of manage the business end while being here? And then, although New Jersey's not super far, but how were you able to do that? And did your partner Ben like have to take over a lot of stuff while you've been here? How do you manage that, being a college student and having a business? Yeah,
I mean, so the super easy and not that cool of an answer is that it's a seasonal business. We don't run it in the winter. The demand for acai is not that high in New Jersey when it's cold.
Sure.
And as far as down the shore goes, it's a ghost town. When it's not those June, July, August, September, it's a ghost town.
Yeah.
So we open it up right when we get back from college. Not to say we don't do anything for it over the off season. Like, I mean, now it's technically the off season, but it's May. So I'm reaching out to all my employees again. I'm getting them on payroll. Reaching out to Pop's Coffee, who is our partner down the shore. So we park outside a coffee shop down the shore. And it's a good like complementary business.
Yeah.
So I'm talking with Phil Batista, the owner of Pop's Coffee, just getting a lot of ducks in a row for the summer. I think, it wasn't like, it's not like college takes away from Ono Bowls in the sense of like, I need to be at Maryland. Can't run the truck because the trucks aren't open.
Sure.
But I am in talks with the UMD athletic department because they had an idea of me partnering with them to kind of cater for their athletes, which would make perfect sense. And the great thing about that is that it would be in our quote unquote off season. So I could basically the idea would be I would hire Maryland students to work the truck and then cater for athletes, pre-practice, post-practice, pre-game meals with acai bowls. And like, I mean, I'm reaching out to the dietitian to sort of get his approval.
Sure.
But I mean, we've gotten the dietitian for the Atlanta Falcons approval for our proteins, for our fruits, because it is like it's really not unhealthy. Like,
No.
And you want to replenish glycogen in the muscles. I'm sure you know.
Absolutely.
Carbs like post practice.
For sure.
So
that's something, and especially having like that fructose, like those natural sugars and stuff like that's something that you do want to have like post training. You know, that's great to be able to nourish the body and. So that would be, I guess, the first step into making this like a full time, or not a full, like an all year round business. But Ben and I like it kind of how like at the current size. Not that we couldn't try to expand it, but we're also like we have college degrees. We want to explore full-time, I guess, corporate jobs and see how that world is. Like I'm working in sales and trading. I was gonna say, what'd you major in? What was your?
I'm a finance major, and Ben is a food science major. So we are that complementary skill set. It's, if you're choosing a business partner, not that I have I feel funny giving advice sometimes because I'm like 21 years old. I don't really know.
You're an old soul, Chris. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I still have a lot to learn, but the piece of advice that I was about to give is if you're choosing a business partner, make sure you don't have too many overlapping skills. Make sure your skill sets are complementary. So I manage a lot of the finances and understand, profit margins and stuff and accounting, and Ben knows about food. Like this kid is a food science major, so he
Awesome.
works in labs and crafts different bases and sweeteners, blah blah blah. Like he just knows about food.
That's great.
And it's great. Yeah. So I forget where I was going with that, but
well, so you both as you kind of said too. I mean, yes, you've now you're graduating college. You've worked hard in attaining this degree, and even though you could take this as like a full-time business, you both want to kind of explore and work in your industries.
Yeah.
But that's something too that I think people will do that. It's like go out and experience that, and then who knows what you get back from that knowledge. And then maybe it is like you guys are ready to, at some point down the line, take this to a bigger extreme, right?
For sure.
Because of everything you've learned. So what do you have? Do you have a job set up, or do you have something you're going to be doing?
Yeah. So last summer, I interned at Credit Suisse, which is an investment bank on Wall Street, and I'm doing sales and trading there. I got a return offer, so I'll be doing like equity sales. So I guess in layman's terms, I always try to describe the job as like I'm a stock picker / pitcher for wealth managers and hedge funds.
Okay.
So I come to them with our firm's research and present them like why they should invest in a certain industry, stock, whatever.
Yeah.
Presenting Credit Suisse's views to them.
Nice.
And obviously catering those picks towards how the client invests, and being a relationship manager. So I really like the sales aspect of finance because obviously I could be analytical. I've learned how to do that, but I also am a social salesy person, as you can tell.
Totally.
So it seems like a good combination of my skills and interests, and obviously it's a great industry to be in out of college. So it's like, all right, I'll explore this. And like you said, maybe after a few years, come back to this business, start another business. But the entrepreneurial intuition is something that doesn't really leave somebody. Yeah. I hope, at least. I would hate if that got crushed out of me. So that's always something I keep in the back of my mind. Like, hey, you got a good job, but probably, I feel like I'd be happiest owning my own businesses.
It is, coming from, I worked corporate for MAC Cosmetics. I was a manager for them. So, dealing with that, it's different. You learn a lot. It's great having a set salary, right?
Yeah.
And getting paid, you can rely on that, right? It's security, and benefits, all that stuff. But, it can be stressful, and working for yourself can be very stressful.
Of course.
But it's different. You're doing it for you, and you can still make a lot of decisions, as far as scheduling and flexibility and doing the things you really want to do. So I think, you've got to honor that spirit, and you'll go learn some stuff. But I feel like there's going to be a lot of things you're going to do and create.
Creating, I think, is the key to happiness.
Totally.
People are meant to create their own thing. And that was something I missed. Even, during my 10-week internship, I missed making the decisions. Also, you can't make passive income when you're on a salary.
Yeah.
Not that you need passive income to be wealthy or have a good life. There's a lot of benefits to employee benefits.
Sure.
Right?
Sure, absolutely.
But I do like the idea of detaching my income to my time put in. Attaching it to value instead of time.
Right.
And I like the finance world a little bit for that, because you can earn commission or get bonus based on your performance.
Sure.
But something that, the most successful week I've had on the Ono Bowls Food Truck was when I was at a concert in Miami with my friends, and the trucks were just extremely busy that week.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, this is the most money I've ever made in a week, and I wasn't even there. So, when you get that kind of feeling of passive income, it really opens up a world of possibilities.
Totally.
Because you're like, wow, this like I'm getting paid for a value that I've provided for the world, even if I'm not there.
Yeah, it's something special. It's
Yeah.
really, really cool. And I think, not everybody might have that like desire, or have that creativity, but like I said, I think when you do, you have to honor that, and it's a cool thing. I mean, it's smart financially also, so that just opens up, I think, so many doors.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel funny, like I always laugh when I see like an Instagram reel or a TikTok, like if you're not making passive income, like your life is crap.
Right,
It's
right.
like, let people live. People don't need to pursue what you're doing.
Right.
But I've
each
just
their own.
yeah, right. From my experiences, this is what I've taken away.
Yeah.
Like people need to pitch what they've learned in a sense more like that. Like
Right.
more passive, more just educational than like you need
Super,
to be doing
right,
this. Yeah.
right. Well, that's the thing too, and I think that's why you're going to be super successful in like sales, because you come across like very genuine, and like someone can trust you, and just
Thank
very
you.
earnest, like it's so I think that's important, where you're in sales but you're not salesy.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to be pitching crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you believe in what you're the products that you're selling, and that, so I think that's really important, and that's why you're going to be super successful with that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Of course. So I've never been to Jersey, and I have to admit, and I think I've said this to you before too, but some of my guilty pleasures, Jersey Shore,
Oh yeah.
of course.
You like that show? Yeah. I can't believe that.
Yes, I know. And sometimes the Housewives of New Jersey, I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, I watched Jersey Shore when I was like younger. God, I don't even know when it started, so maybe I was in my 20s. I don't know. I'm 41 now. And so, but it's like come back for several seasons now, as they're kind of all older and married and have kids. But I just feel like it's something I was attached to then, and like, so now I still have to watch it. And Jay's like, I mean, such a good sport. He'll watch it, but he's like, man, the editing just kills me, because he's like, it's so like in your face.
Oh my
He's
God,
like, I just can't relax and watch
No,
it.
it's so like.
But I'm like, it's like meant to be like that,
rowdy. Yeah.
For sure. And I mean, I'd love to. Jensen last night too, as we were saying about, he's like, anytime you want to come to Jersey, like let me know, we'll hang out.
We'll show you a good time.
But I mean, like, what is it like? Is it really like that? Is like,
I mean, so if you go to Seaside Heights, which is where that show was filmed, or like Belmar, and you go to the bars, like DJs, like Osprey, like there are bars and scenes like the Jersey Shore
Sure.
the Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
Like that is undeniable.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're gonna see, the guys with the tattoos and the slick back hair.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
hey yo, DJ Paulie D, we're going to DJs. Come on.
I love it.
Like, oh yeah, that's there for sure.
Yeah.
The girls with the spray tans and the overdone makeup, for sure, that's there.
Yeah.
I don't think that's even like 5% of New Jersey though.
Right.
Like that's a very like subset of a subset
Totally.
of New Jersey, but it's like hilarious to watch and like be a part of.
I mean, is it like something that like makes you cringe watching it? Because are you like,
Yes.
this isn't really like what Jersey's like? Or are you kind of like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like they,
I mean, like, yeah, I don't particularly like when people can like just assume that that's like what it's like.
Sure. Yep.
My family does not like it.
Yeah.
They think it puts like a bad image on Italians.
Right.
And I think half the people in the Jersey Shore aren't even Italian. I
Yeah.
think they're like Cuban and like a bunch of other ethnicities.
Right.
So it's like, it's,
Right.
it's a fake
Very
show.
diverse. Yeah.
It's funny. It's no harm, no foul. I think it's like an overdone representation of the caricatures of the Jersey Shore.
Totally.
Which are like hilarious. Like I go out and see those types of people.
Right.
And I mean, I definitely have some of those tendencies, like way, way toned down. Yeah.
On a like very low level. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Jersey Shore in the summer is a great time.
I guess, like, what's it like? Like, what is the Jersey Shore to you? What is it? What does it mean? What is it like? What have you experienced?
Yeah, it's a little bit different, I think. It has a couple different aspects. Like, I'm 21 now, and those bars are pretty strict, so it's not like I could get into a lot of them
Sure.
last summer. So I'm 21 now, so now it's like, it has that nightlife aspect, the boardwalk, the bars, super fun, but it also has a huge like family and sentimental aspect to me.
Yeah.
Because I grew up, at my grandparents' house in Lavallette, New Jersey.
Okay.
Like spending a lot of each summer there when
Yeah.
I wasn't like playing travel baseball or something.
Mm-hmm.
So and a lot of the Jersey Shore, like LBI, Lavallette, like it's a lot of families. Like it's not it's not going out.
Yeah, sure.
Like
sure.
Ocean City, New Jersey, beautiful beaches down there. It's super South Jersey. That's a dry beach town. Like there's no
Okay.
alcohol there.
Yeah.
So there are like a lot of going out spots and a lot of family spots and everything in between. And the Italian American food there is great, obviously.
Awesome. And I'd love to go. Like I said, I've never been, and I'd love to be able to take the girls. Like Jay and I go with the girls and go experience it. So I think it'd be great. Like it's like you have the beach, you have great food.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah,
obviously.
and there's like boardwalks and stuff for kids and all the boardwalk games.
Yeah.
It's super fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm like, we have so many people here from the gym that are from Jersey.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
like
people.
Brian is from the town over from me. He's from Westfield.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He's a bit older, so he knows like older people. But,
Yeah.
yeah, he lives like 5 minutes from me.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Or used to live 5 minutes from me.
Yeah. We have like Danielle, we have James, you, Jensen.
Danielle is from New Jersey?
Danielle's from Jersey.
Oh, crap.
Yeah. So there's a lot, we have a lot, I love it, and I'm like, I want to be able to go. I think that's one of the best things too, with being here now, moving from Chicago, is getting to experience like the East Coast a little bit more. Not that we have so much time to go and travel, but we did go, to New York on our honeymoon last year. I've never been to New York, so it was like an amazing experience, and now I'm dying to go back. So just being able to explore all these places that aren't that far.
Yeah, they're not.
On the East Coast.
They're not. I mean, the southern beaches of New Jersey are probably like 2 hours from here.
That's awesome.
Ocean City's really nice beaches.
Okay,
I'd recommend that.
Yeah, Ocean City.
Or like
I know.
Avalon.
Okay. We'll have to make that happen.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure too, everybody knows, if they want to book you, like how can they go about that? Like, is your summer totally booked, or if they are like, corporate or wanting to throw parties or anything like that, can they just go to the website or follow you on Instagram? Tell everybody how they can connect.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a ton of ways to reach us. I mean, our Instagram is Ono Bowls Food Truck, ONO Bowls Food Truck, no spaces. You could literally send us a direct message on there.
Awesome.
There's also links to our email on there, which is onobowlscart@gmail.com. You could literally just shoot us an email, and then if you go on the website, onobowls.net, there's a food truck tab, and then there's a contact us section. So there's a ton of ways to reach us, yeah.
And how far?
Or send an email to Jen and she'll forward me it.
There you go, exactly. Hey guys. Do you, how far are you willing to travel? Depends. I mean,
depends on the event.
Pay is right, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we prefer to travel less than an hour and a half. So that limits our catering range to like northern/central Jersey.
Okay.
And we literally just get paid for the drive. So it's really up to the person booking the catering event how much they want to pay us for the drive.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
awesome.
As crappy as that sounds.
No, but you've got to. I mean, that's time driving.
It's extremely annoying to drive the
for
truck
sure
around too. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So now that we've kind of gotten like some business stuff out of the way,
for sure.
How has your experience been with jiu-jitsu? And are you? I think you will continue jiu-jitsu.
No, I got my second stripe and I'm retired.
That's what happens. People, you hear that all the time. Like someone achieved their blue belt and they're like, I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah.
Like this is too hard. I'm over it. It's like, what? No.
No, that's like when you start. Blue belt's like when stuff starts making sense. I feel like.
But that's one of the things where it's like someone's achieved that marker and like
the blue belt blues, right?
Yeah, and then they stop training. But how do you feel about jiu-jitsu and how has it impacted your life?
It's my favorite part of my training. It's like, it's phenomenal. I've always knew it was something that I wanted to get into. And Sam and I were abroad living together, always talking about it. Like, all right, when we're back in Maryland, like, we're gonna go to that gym in the Park. And we actually did it. I think honoring the commitments to yourself is like a huge thing.
For sure.
Because I know so many people that would have just been like, oh yeah, I want to get into jiu-jitsu, and tell themselves that for months and just never do it. And I mean, you do feel very dumb and unathletic when you first start jiu-jitsu. Like, I consider myself a pretty fast learner and decently athletic, but like jiu-jitsu, you just move kind of like you never have before. Unless you're a really good wrestler. Right. But it's been my favorite part of training. I think you need to give me some tips on recovery, because I'm sore all the time.
You got to be foam rolling. If you're not rolling,
I need to be foam rolling more.
That's number one.
Yeah. But you know, I used to lift like 4 or 5 times a week, do some cardio. Maybe some swimming or sprinting. But adding jiu-jitsu 3 times a week to like, and then when I was competing, I kind of jacked it up to like 4 or 5 times a week. But doing jiu-jitsu 3 times a week, lifting 2 days a week, and then I swim or sprint 1 day a week, and then just like recover 1 day a week.
That's great.
That has made me like a more mobile, strong, and functional athlete than I have ever been. Like I am the most athletic I've ever been right now as I sit, which is great, because a lot of people get washed up after high school.
Sure. After high school, I didn't get to my prime until I was like in my 30s.
That's because you trained jiu-jitsu. Like
I found it at 30. But it's funny. Like, I never, in junior high I played like basketball, volleyball, softball, whatever. But in high school I worked. I never, I didn't do sports.
Okay.
And like when I was 25 is when I started really kind of like on my health journey of working out and lifting and all that. And I used to be 230 pounds. Like,
I did not know that.
Yeah, I got to my like worst point. I've always been like tall and like larger frame, but mid-20s, going out, partying, breakups, all that fun stuff. You're not always making the best choices. So when I opened my business was kind of also when I like started making those choices for myself, honoring myself, and like, this isn't who I am. I want to be on this healthier path. And, so started making those changes, but did not start training jiu-jitsu until I was like 30 years old.
Oh, wow.
So then it really like springboarded. I mean, I fell in love with it. It was like, jiu-jitsu is the love of my life. This is it. And started competing like 6 months into it, like white through purple belt crazy. So it is one of those things. I feel like it just elevates your fitness and your health and wellness, mind, body, and soul, but you use your body so much differently. So doing all these other things definitely kind of supports and complements your training. But jiu-jitsu is just, it's such a physical chess game. And I feel like,
and mental.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you have to, it's so strategic, but it's based off your partner's energy. And then it's very physical, even though, people sometimes we talk about invisible jiu-jitsu, like being a closed guard, someone might be watching that or spectating and like, what's really going on?
What's going on? Yeah, it's just boring.
It's like you're trying to break someone's posture and keep them in your closed guard, and you're like,
there's so
much horrible. Going on. Yeah,
there's so much going on, and it's a physical chess match, because you need to, make the right move, but it's also a mental chess match, because the other person is thinking the exact same thing,
totally.
and then they have to, if I want to submit someone, I need to catch them I have to, fake a submission and then fake another submission and then catch them in the one they don't see coming.
Right. It's timing, transition, right?
It's extremely hard. But hard things are amazing. Like, I love doing hard things. And jiu-jitsu is just another hard thing that I've picked up. Yeah. From starting businesses and starting an investment club this year, which I haven't talked about, but we don't need to get into that.
An investment club? What?
Yeah, with some buddies of mine.
That's awesome. Look at you. That's awesome.
Yeah, to the finance world, like, jiu-jitsu fulfillment comes from doing hard things, and like, I'm extremely happy that I started jiu-jitsu, and I don't see myself stopping.
That's awesome. You better not. And I told Jensen this too. I'm like, you've got to keep me updated, because he wants to do some tournaments. He said he's going to train there, and I think with his brother, which is awesome. And I said, you guys have to come back and visit when you can, when you're around. But I wanna know like how your jiu-jitsu journey continues and how it's going.
Yeah, I'll keep you posted. Hopefully I compete somewhat soon. I really enjoyed that.
You had like great back-to-back weekends competing, and that was your first time ever competing in jiu-jitsu. You performed so well the first time. I feel like too, just getting out there and understanding the experience, it does so much for you. It puts you in that kind of vulnerable spot. It's something you kind of anticipate. You don't know exactly what to expect, but you test yourself so much. And I tell people, if you don't want to compete, that's fine. Like, we don't push people to do that. But I think experiencing at least one tournament, it's almost as like impactful as like 6 months of training. Like, I feel like you learn so much from that experience.
Oh yeah.
And then for you, like, and I saw it too, I feel like that desire where you performed so well, but you were like, this wasn't enough, right?
Yeah.
And you wanted to get back after it. And like, I think registration for that Copa, there were 3 tournaments back to back, 3 weekends, but closed that day. And you're like, I'm going to register for it.
And then think twice about it. Yeah.
You went and took silver.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. That's so awesome. So how did that feel?
Well, I would, first of all, I would pay a stupid amount of money to get that adrenaline rush at any point in time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm kind of an adrenaline junkie. Like, I love to ski really hard, cliff jumping. Like, I eat that stuff up. So when you put me in when you put me in a situation where I'm about to literally fight somebody, like I'm super happy. I'm super happy. But I was a little too happy, and adrenaline amped up when in the first tournament in Grappling Industries. I came out really hot, and I kind of lost the mental match. I lost the mental game of jiu-jitsu. Physically, I was all there. Like, I was getting the takedowns. I was, running through people for double legs, and my takedowns were better than I expected. But I was losing the mental game because I was getting swept. I was standing up in stupid ways and getting swept, and I was trying to muscle out of things because I was just so amped up.
There's that adrenaline dump too. Like, that's real.
Yeah, it was real. It was like the most tired I've ever been. I was after like those 2 matches, but then I learned kind of that next week to how to control the adrenaline, and I was one of the calmer people at Copa, and that helped me take silver, because you want that energy, but you want that energy to be controlled. You don't want to just be like wild. And I played football, so I was kind of like, I didn't really have to control my adrenaline, because in football you're on for 4 to 10 seconds for the play, and then you reset. 4 to 10 seconds and you reset. Like, so you're never really tired. You want that adrenaline. Like, but for jiu-jitsu, like, you need, you're in a 5-minute battle. Like, you need to pick your spots and be controlled. And I mean, if I mess up in football, maybe the guy gains like an extra yard. I was a linebacker, so like maybe the guy gained, like, I'm not gonna miss the tackle just because of too much adrenaline.
Right.
But like in jiu-jitsu, like, if I try to stand up from somebody's guard, then they're gonna trip me, and I'm gonna lose with 3 points for a sweep, right? Yeah, it's like, so that's really bad. And I did that like a couple times, and that's why I lost those matches. But I don't think I got swept in Copa, so that's
awesome.
Yeah.
See, it's little like achievements, right, and progress.
But like you said, like you get better. It's almost like 6 months of training. Like from, I think from the week before Grappling Industries, and then the week after leading up to Copa, like, I just learned so much about my game, like how I need to get better at breaking guard, and we train that for the next week. And I think, like, again, that's probably equivalent to like a few months of training. Just those two, it just accelerates your
just the things that you can learn, and then being in that experience and knowing what it's like, and we can, I think jiu-jitsu is great because we can like mimic training as close to like tournament training as possible, where we are sparring, right? We're doing live sparring, which is great, but it still isn't necessarily like the same kind of energy when you have to go up. Those nerves are kind of hard to mimic.
That, and people don't really tap out like that easily.
Right. Well,
in
right.
Tournament.
Like, it's like,
I get people in guillotines in here,
and
I have yet to close a guillotine in tournament. I had 2 that were like seconds away from being tap outs, and in here, like, I would have won that round, they would have tapped out. But in tournament, people are willing to almost pass out.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Here it's it's a little more relaxed, and it's like, okay, you've got me there, great, like tap,
Of course.
whatever. But it's like they're trying to achieve the same thing you are, so it's like they're gonna.
They don't want to lose.
Keep going. They don't want to lose
because then they go home. Like
right.
you literally have to drive home an hour. Like, whereas in here, like I tap out and then we just reset and keep
exactly.
going. Yeah.
Exactly. It's no big deal. But it's such a great experience, and I think it's just awesome to see that progression and kind of take that and then so soon be able to apply it. Those changes, seeing like what you needed to work on and being calm. And that's why I always say too in class where I'm like, don't get too excited. Like when you get excited, you make space,
and
you lose a position.
Yeah.
And it could be the slightest like wrong movement and
course.
You're swept or subbed or whatever. It's just your guard's passed. So it's finding that balance of being like calm and controlled and then explosive when necessary.
Yeah. And that's why I really liked having you and Jay coach me through that one match in Grappling Industries, because you guys are just so relaxed. I watched Mike was recording me through that match, and like it does look pretty boring. Like I'm just laying on top of the guy, but I beat him 9-0. And I need to do a sub only tournament. Side note, because I would love that.
The good fight's coming up in August.
Okay,
but you'll
is
have
that
to
down
look.
here or is it?
Yes, it's in Maryland.
Okay. You might have to
Maryland.
I'll find a New Jersey one to do probably.
I think they go to Jersey. The good fight though is great. They do sub only.
Yeah, that's cool.
In gi and no gi.
Because that's fun. But
it's different when you have to think about points.
It is. It's very different. But you and Jay being so calm, you were just like heavy heads. Jay's like head control, underhook. I'm like, all right. I'm not moving as much.
Yeah.
Whereas in here, I'm like, let me get that arm bar. Like, let me try to go. And then, I usually will lose the position. But in here, points don't matter.
That's the biggest thing where I'm like, be heavy. Like, that's what I'm trying to scream because slow. It is. It's like, like, relax, heavy. You want them to carry your weight and get tired, right? And frustrated. So then you can transition. It's all about that timing.
And and even if you don't transition to a sub, or even if you don't transition to a better position, you're still in control, and they can't get points because you are on top of them, quite literally.
Yeah. And then that's where you're kind of looking for like, oh, you want me to pass your guard? Great. Or, you want, like you want me to get to mount? Beautiful, because it's just carrying that pressure. It's so difficult, right? So you're kind of, crushing their soul a little bit to get you into a better position.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, I'm so proud of you. I think that was amazing that you had that experience. You went out there and then were like, I'm going to do this again. Like, I've got to get this done. And then we're able to medal, and that was just an awesome experience. So we're so proud of you.
Thank you so much. You guys have been great. This gym has been like a whole new community. And I haven't had a coach in a while. I guess since like high school when I played sports. So having you and Jay is like, it's a whole new thing. I love it.
It's awesome. I love it. I'm going to be so sad when everyone goes. But it's been such a great thing having you all, here and part of the community. So like I said, you've got to come back and visit when you can and keep us posted.
Will do. Jensen, Sam, and I all have, alumni weekends at some point in the fall.
That's great.
So we'll definitely be back at UMD. And I'll bring my gi.
And, of course.
Hopefully it's a no-gi.
Absolutely.
Hopefully it's a no-gi week. That's just me. But.
Well,
No, I'm kidding.
Got to train, but I know everyone has their favorites, But no, that's awesome. And, so excited for you and for your future and everything you're going to do. I know you're going to accomplish a lot of great things. And I appreciate you being on the podcast. So one more time, your Instagram.
Yeah, it's Ono Bowls Food Truck. Send us a DM if you want a catering event or just interested in learning more. We are hiring for this summer still, so if you're my age and want a job, go for it.
There you go. That's awesome.
Ono Bowls Food Truck is the Instagram, and onobowlscart@gmail.com is the email.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chris, for taking the time to do this. It's been
pleasure.
Awesome.
My pleasure.
Yay. And to all the listeners out there, any guests you'd like me to have on the podcast, send me a message on my Instagram at allthingsgenz, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.